Welcome to another show. Thank you for watching and keeping tuned. My name is Wairimu from Power Kitchen. Today we are making Kienyeji, which we will finally roast because people like roast chicken, but they always imagine that with Kienyeji you cannot roast. So welcome, I hope you'll enjoy our class for today. I have very simple ingredients. Just the Kienyeji kuku cut up. I've cut up the main parts into 8, and then I have the trimmings here which will make some sauce. I have 1 inch of ginger which is sliced. I have 3 cloves of garlic which are also sliced. I will get some mixed herbs from here. I have 1 onion which is finely chopped and usual table salt. So to begin my cooking today, we'll use the electric pressure cooker, the EPC, which I have here. The EPC comes with a tripod which we'll use to steam. It also has a measuring cup and the sufuria, as it were, the pot that we're going to use to cook. This pot can take up to 6 liters of food. Here is the main cooking element inside here, so that is what heats up, and then the pot is well insulated so that we can retain all the heat in there. We also have the lid, which is important because it has the rubber. Always make sure that the rubber is well placed. This rubber is what traps the pressure in. Then we have 2 important things on the lid. Is the pressure vent, which has a weighted vent so that the pressure is retained. Then we have the pin, this pin here, which is a safety pin. When it is in the up position, the pressure cooker cannot open the lid even if you tried. When it is in a collapsed position is when it is safe to open. I'll take 2 cups or 3 cups of water because we will use that to make our sauce. I'm using hot water. I'm using this cup that comes with the pressure cooker. Use hot water when you are cooking. It is reducing the cooking time. I have 3 cups which we are going to use for steaming a bit, so that steam will also go into the chicken. I'll put in my onion, the garlic, the ginger and salt. Salt to taste. There are people who do not like salt at all, so they would not use any. Put in the herbs, which will give it a nice, unique flavor. If you have fresh herbs, you can use, for example, you can put in some mint leaves, rosemary leaves, which will give it some good flavor. So for the chicken trimmings, we don't want to throw them away and they'll enrich my gravy or sauce. So we'll put them in at the bottom with the garlic and ginger and herbs pieces. Then we'll put in the tripod and arrange the chicken pieces over the tripod so that they steam, not boil. I'll close my lid. So now we'll seal our cooking pot. And you can hear that nice musical tone that tells you that you have actually sealed it correctly. So here we have our energy meter, and we are going to be interested in this little part in the middle which shows the cost per kilowatt. So we'll calculate at the end how much we have used to cook this meal. We'll go to manual setting, which will give us 30 minutes. And if you want to use more time to cook, probably your chicken is a bit hard or you want it softer, depending on the texture, you will go to the cooking timer and add how many minutes you want or reduce, but I will keep mine at 30 minutes. So once it blinks like that, while it is blinking, there's enough time for you to keep changing the time, the program, the menu, whatever you want. But once it stops that blinking, it means it is now set in that program like it is now. So we wait for it to build pressure so that it can start the countdown. For this pressure valve here, it has two positions. It has a position where it is closed and a position where it is open. So whenever you are cooking, always ensure that it is in the closed position so that the pressure will build and not escape. The pin here will be in this collapsed position until the pressure has built, where the pin will pop up, and once it's up, it means that the real honest cooking has begun and it is now pressurized, and the countdown will begin, and we will wait until when it drops once it has finished cooking. Open it even if you try. Also, I want you to note that my pressure vessel, my EPC, is cool to the touch. It is not hot, so it is completely safe to use. Once you note that the steam is coming up, it means that the pressure is really building and it is about to seal. It is now building as much as it can, and if you notice, this pin is looking like it's about to pop up any minute, and then it will seal completely and no more steam will come out. This steam is harmless, it is not hot, so it is completely safe. You don't need to worry about it like the usual pressure cookers that we have. If you watch, the pin is coming up, and anytime now it is going to pop up. In a second or two, it will pop up and seal. There we are. The pin has come up, and you notice no more steam. It is now ready to cook under pressure. The EPC is totally pressurized. So here you can see the countdown has now begun. We are at 30 minutes. It will go reducing until it is at 0 and automatically go into the keep warm mode if you're not ready to remove your meal from there. So let's wait for the 30 minutes. Meanwhile, we will go and do some accompaniment, which is rice for today. So while we wait for our chicken to cook, we'll prepare the accompaniment. I have a rice cooker here. I'm sure many of you have rice cookers. The pressure cooker can cook for you rice if you wanted to cook, and we have done that before. It will make for you the rice perfectly, but if it's already occupied like mine is, I can use my rice cooker to make the rice. The concept is the same. It has the heating element at the bottom. The only difference is the insulation. This one is not insulated as much as the pressure cooker. Actually, it's not insulated at all. The lid is an ordinary glass top. It is not under any pressure at all. In fact, it even has a hole. So the cooking time for this will take more than if you cooked the rice in the pressure cooker. That is the difference. But they are all energy efficient. It is still cheaper and better to cook in a rice cooker than in an open sufuria, because you use even less liquid and less time. So here I have 2 cups of rice, which is already washed and drained. I'll put in a few cloves and some cardamoms just to enhance the flavor. Salt, I'll put in a teaspoon and another teaspoon. Rice requires enough salt. It is very difficult to salt rice after it is cooked, so make sure you put enough. I'll put in half a cup of coconut milk just to add to the flavor. And remember, the same cups that you use to cook, to measure the rice, is the same cup that you use to measure the water. With the rice cooker, you put 1 to 1. So these were 2 cups of rice, so I should put 2 cups of water. So I've already put half a cup of coconut milk, so I'll put another half cup to make it 1 cup, and 1 cup of plain water to make it 2 cups. That is if you want your rice to be just nice and dry, ile tunasema moja moja. So I'll just stir. Ensure that you use either a plastic spatula or a mwiko so that you do not scratch your non-stick surface. So That is it. And ensure that your rice is covered. Put enough water to actually definitely immerse the rice. Cover, and we'll connect it to another energy meter so that we are able to also see how much power we are going to use. So there is our energy meter. It is at 00. So I'll turn this cooker to the cook position. It has two positions, warm and cook. So we'll turn it to the cook position and wait for it to cook. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes to cook. So now the countdown is over, and it has gone into the keep warm menu. Here it says 0H, which is 0 hours. But if it continues to remain on keep warm, it will go gradually to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and so forth. It will keep your food hot, actually piping hot for you up to 8 hours. So the outside of my pressure cooker is still just warm. It is safe to touch, and even the lid is just, yes, a bit warm, but not to burn you. So the pressure cooker is totally safe. Here we have the pin. The countdown is done. The cookie is finished. The pin is still up, and the vent is still closed. Now, if we leave it like this, within 10 minutes or so, it will have gone down on its own, the pin, so that you can be able to open. If you are in any particular hurry, you can be able to turn the vent to release the pressure if you require, which we are doing now. I don't know whether you can see the pressure being released. So the pin has dropped. It is in the drop position. Our vent is open. No more steam is coming out. So now I know it is totally safe to open my pressure cooker, which I've done, and I can see my chicken is well steamed, ready for the next process. Here I want to draw your attention to the meter. We have the meter reading 0.267 units, so that is 0.267 units multiplied by 21, which is the cost of the unit. So it comes to 5 shillings and 6 or 7 cents. Then we have our rice cooker, which has also gone to keep warm. Our rice is cooked, so we check on the meter. The meter is also reading 0.176 units. So we'll calculate that 0.176 units times 21 shillings equals to 3 shillings and 6.96 cents. So here we have our multi cooker, which can grill, it can fry, and surprisingly it can also bake. It comes with a cooking pot, which can also be used as a baking tray if you're baking with it and if you're grilling. So the concept is the same yet again. There is the heating element at the bottom, and then here we have a halogen heater, which is like the halogen lamp. So it will be cooking from top and also from the bottom. That's why it is so good for roasting, because you don't have to keep turning so much. So back to our chicken, which I will place in my pan here. It looks a bit white, and you can see the 30 minutes were enough. The meat has even drawn back on the bone, so it means our chicken is well cooked. All we are doing now is browning it. So there we have our chicken. We have 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, and I have a bit of ghee, which I'm mixing together. I also have 1 teaspoon of garlic crushed, and you can add some salt if you feel you want to add some salt. But remember, our rice also has some salt, which is an accompaniment, and our sauce will also have some salt. So I'm brushing this onto the chicken pieces. It adds some color and some flavor. We don't want to serve it all looking white. The oil is just to keep it not so dry. And please note that with the multi-cooker, one of the key aspects about it is that it's like a health cooker, because you can cook with minimum oil. Even if you're doing chips, you'll just put a teaspoon or so just to coat the bottom, and they will be fried and come out just like your fries that you know, only that there'll be much less oil that you have used, therefore an healthier option. So I've turned them over and now want to baste the other side. Remember, if you like to add other spices, you're free to do so. You can even add some honey, which will give it a sweet sour taste. Also some lemon. There we are. Just a little bit of oil just to cover the surface so that they do not burn. Just brushing, not pouring. You can see to cook this, I'm going to use less than 2 tablespoons of oil. Remember, we didn't put any oil while we were steaming. So I'll fix that plate back into its cooker, connect it to my energy meter so that we are able to check how much power that we are going to use. It's at 00, and I'll switch on and put a timing of like 10 minutes or probably 5 minutes on both sides just to brown everything. You can see the halogen lamp has gone up at the top, and at the bottom simultaneously is also warming up. So now I can see my timer is coming to an off, and for 5 minutes. So I want to turn the chicken to the other side. I can already see one side is looking really nice and browned. So we'll go to the next level. Have a look. It looks really nice and hardly any oil. You can see no oil in there. So we'll turn the pieces ready for the next 5 minutes. Though it's not so necessary because it is cooking from up and down, but I just want to confirm that everything is browning well. The bottom side will brown better than the top side. That's why I'm insisting on turning, because there goes our timer for 5 minutes, because the bottom side has a larger surface area, so it browns more on the bottom side. No need to baste, we are good. So I'll put it back and give it another 5 minutes. So our chicken is done, and it really looks inviting. It actually is choma, and we can tell it's soft because the meat have moved away from the bone. So we are now going to serve it on a bed of rice. Let us have a look at our rice. Done. It is now on the keep warm. It is well cooked. You can see it is not ugali. it is separating well. Make sure as you use this fork you do not scratch the sides of the pot, so that you preserve your non-stick surface. We'll serve on a platter. You can remove the spices, the pods, the cardamom pods and the cloves if you so wish. And I can smell the aroma of this rice is really inviting. You can smell the coconut, you can smell the cloves, you can smell the cardamom. It really has a very nice aroma. So there is our rice. I've made a bed. Where I will now place the chicken. Push from the center so that you do not have to worry about the edges. So at the end of our cooking, the roasting, we have used 0.34 units. That is 0.34 units, 1 shillings. That is 7 shillings and 14 cents. Of our roasting, which really looks good. We can see that we have used 0.17 units, 171 units times 21 shillings. That comes to 3 shillings and 5.91 cents, plus the initial 5 shillings and 6.07 cents equals to 9 shillings 198 cents, plus the rice. The cost of cooking the rice was 3 shillings and 6.96, comes to the total of 12 shillings and 89 cents. I'll now plate the chicken. Remember to use something that will not scratch your pan. So there is our dish, and it may look a bit dry. So what we're going to do is that we're going to make a little sauce from what we drained. You can see here I have drained my chicken pieces that were inside here in the pot. So I have my drained gravy. So with my drained gravy, I'm going to thicken that gravy a little bit so that we can use it in as a sauce. Right now it is too runny, so we need to thicken it a bit. It's a bit runny but very, very tasty. So all I'll do is just thicken it a bit to pour over my chicken, or to be used as a gravy for the chicken. So I'll put it inside here just for a few minutes. It's on high heat. I'll just close it for a bit as I prepare some corn flour with a little bit of water so that I can add it there, or better still, I can pick some of the sauce. So this is just corn flour. That is 1 heaped teaspoon of corn flour. So you need to mix it on your own so that it mixes and you avoid lumps. It's now well mixed, and I'll add it into that sauce. The multi-cooker, having the bottom and the top elements, brings it to a boil very quickly. stir in this, thicken it a little bit and give it a bit of color. So a few moments later, my gravy has thickened a little bit, so I'll spoon it into my sauce boat and pour it over my chicken, or you can serve it on its own. This was less than 3 minutes of cooking, so the cost is negligible. So there is our dish for today: roast Kienyeji chicken served on a bed of coconut spiced rice. Enjoy and keep watching. See you next time.